So you're expecting, and everyone's probably telling you that nuts are a fantastic healthy snack, right? But what if I told you that some of those seemingly harmless nuts could actually be hiding a real risk to you and your baby? In this explainer, we're going to dive deep and separate the critical facts from the common myths.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a shocking fact that isn't talked about nearly enough. Yes, you heard me right, a deadly poison. Stay with me because what you're about to learn is absolutely crucial for a safe and healthy pregnancy. All right, let's start with our first hidden danger, and it's one you might think you're totally immune to: allergies. It's so easy to think, oh, I've eaten peanuts my whole life, I'm fine. But pregnancy? It completely rewrites the rulebook. Your body is going through these huge hormonal shifts, and honestly, it can become pretty unpredictable. Now, what's really fascinating here is how all these risks are connected. If things like allergies, asthma, or even eczema run in your family, your personal risk goes up. But here's the kicker. Even if you have no family history at all, those pregnancy hormones can flip a switch and trigger a reaction you've never, ever had before. And a severe allergic reaction? Well, that's the last thing you or your baby need right now. So what does this all mean? The most important takeaway here is caution. When it comes to peanuts during pregnancy, if you have even the slightest doubt, the safest bet is to either avoid them completely or maybe just have them in very, very small amounts. It's just not worth the gamble. Next up, let's talk about walnuts. You know them, they're packed with those amazing omega-3s, and everyone calls them a pregnancy superfood. But even this healthy favorite can turn into a source of some major discomfort if you're not careful. With walnuts, the issue isn't a scary allergy or some hidden poison. It's actually something much more common: just eating too many. A small handful can be fantastic, but if you go overboard, it can lead to some really unpleasant side effects, piling on top of the other discomforts you might already be feeling. As you can see, all that fiber and fat in walnuts, which is normally great for you, can suddenly cause a whole lot of digestive trouble. We're talking bloating, gas, just that general yucky feeling in your stomach. These are things you're probably already trying to manage, so why add a snack that makes it worse? But here's where our story takes a much, much darker turn. As uncomfortable as bloating and gas can be, trust me, it is nothing compared to the hidden danger we are about to uncover. This is the part of our explainer you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Okay, let's get right to the heart of that shocking question I asked at the very beginning. We are now talking about a natural compound that's found in certain nuts that your body literally converts into one of the most well-known poisons on the entire planet. This compound is called amygdalin. The name itself doesn't sound too scary, right? But here's what happens. When you eat it, your digestive system breaks it down and creates hydrogen cyanide. Yes, that cyanide. It is incredibly toxic, and yes, it can be fatal. So which nuts have this stuff? Please pay close attention here. The almonds you buy at the grocery store for snacking are called sweet almonds, and they are perfectly safe. No problem there. But they have a cousin, the bitter almond, and this one is loaded with amygdalin. While they can look pretty similar, the bitter kind is extremely dangerous and should never, ever be eaten. And it isn't just bitter almonds. Wild apricot kernels are another major source. The bottom line here is super simple. Stick to the common, commercially sold nuts from brands you know and trust. If you see any wild or unfamiliar types at a farmer's market or specialty shop, just walk on by. Okay, so we've covered surprise allergies and we've covered natural poisons, but there is one more hidden danger, and this one is totally invisible. It's not actually in the nut itself, but what can grow on it, often without you ever even seeing it. We all know not to eat food that's got fuzzy green stuff growing on it, right? But this quote says it all. The most dangerous mold is often the one you can't see. It can start growing and producing its toxins long before it ever becomes visible to the naked eye. And that's where the real danger is. This invisible threat actually has a name: aflatoxins. These are powerful toxins that are produced by specific kinds of mold that just love to grow on crops like nuts. And believe me, they are seriously harmful, especially during pregnancy. So how does this happen? Well, the contamination can happen at any point. Nuts that are stored in a damp place are a perfect breeding ground, and the really scary part, it can happen before they even get to the store. This also applies to things like peanut butter. If a jar is left open for too long, moisture can get inside, and those toxic molds can start growing, completely unseen. Okay, after all of those warnings, you might be ready to swear off nuts forever. But please,
Don't worry, you can absolutely enjoy them safely. We've talked about all the problems, so let's pivot and talk about the practical solutions that you can start using right away.
This simple 3-step process is your best defense. First, always buy your nuts from a reputable source that you trust. When you get them home, here's a great little tip. Gently dry them out on a baking sheet in a low-heat oven. This removes any moisture. And finally, store them in a completely airtight container. That's it. This is what keeps them fresh and, most importantly, safe.
So, from hidden poisons to invisible mold, we have really uncovered some surprising truths today. I'm so curious, what was the most shocking fact for you? The cyanide risk, or maybe the invisible mold? Let us know down in the comments, and please seriously consider sharing this explainer. You never know which mother-to-be you might be helping.